Hey, this is Coco Beware, and you listen to InYourHeadOnline.com. Hey, don't forget it, brother, online.com, In Your Head, Coco Beware. Yeah, get it together, baby.
All right, we're back. We're joined by former Intercontinental Champion, former Tag Team Champion, and Hall of Famer, and current author, Tito Santana. Welcome to In Your Head.
Thank you very much. Good to be with you guys.
Yeah, it's good to hear from you. Let everybody know you can go to your websites, titosantana.net, and we'll have that right on our website, so you can click on it. And you're still taking like indie bookings, and you do any like fan fest or anything like that?
I don't have any fan fest set up. I think I'm working one in Maryland, an autograph signing there. But I have had a few people that have sent $25 to my the hair salon address. And I've mailed them back a book, autographed. So if anybody's interested in getting the book, I'm the only one that has any books left.
Yeah, they're hot sellers. Tito Santana, Tales from the Ring. So if you want to get that, because I haven't tried to order on Amazon, it's sold out. You go to titosantana.net, and I guess Tito will even autograph it for you.
Yes, I will.
Are you happy with the book, how it came out?
Yes, I mean, I've had a lot of great response from people that have read it. You know, that once they start reading it, that they can put it down. It's a very easy flow book, and it goes from the beginning of my life through my athletic career in sports through high school and college, and a couple of years of professional football, and things that happened to me, and going to camp to football, and then. How I got started in wrestling, and with situations with promoters that I had to deal with, and different people and drugs, and it's a pretty positive book. I really don't. I didn't write this to knock anybody. If anything, to help people. In life, I think it's a very positive book from what I understand. That's what my intentions was. And that's what some people have told me, that they've gotten out of it.
Excellent. You talked about football in it. What is it about West Texas State and wrestlers? Why do so many wrestlers come out of there?
I think it was because of the Funk brothers, Terry Funk and Dory Funk, and of course their fathers, the ones that started Amarillo Wrestling right there. Not too far from West Texas State University, 17 miles as a matter of fact. And Terry Funk played football at West Texas State University also, and he'd come around to practices, and he got to know a lot of the guys, and a lot of his friends, I'm sure, got involved when they were around. Bruiser Brody, Bobby Duncombe, Stan Hansen, and Dusty Rhodes played sports there, and I think Blackjack Mulligan and Barry Windham and Ted DiBiase and Manny Fernandez and myself and Tully Blanchard and and Dick Murdoch, and I'm pretty sure there's a couple that I forgot, but I mean there are a lot of guys that came out of there.
Definitely. Now I'm sure you cover this in your book, but I don't know if you had any memories of working with Greg Valentine. Because obviously there's a big feud you had, over the Intercontinental Championship over many years.
Well, I mean, working with Greg Valentine, him and we had great chemistry. The fans loved our matches. We went out there and we gave the people 110%, and they saw a dogfight every night. And Howard Finkel told Greg Valentine that our angle was the longest feud that they had in the history of the WWE or the WWF. I mean, we wrestled against each other for a year and a half, and pretty much just about any type of match that you can think of, and we ended up in a cage match. We were selling out big arenas without Hulk Hogan, and I believe we were the first angle to do that. Mm-hmm. To be able to sell out a 20,000 arena without Hulk being on the card, and it was great.
Do you think some people don't, know today that the Intercontinental Championship was used to main event house shows that didn't have the world champion on?
I don't think. I don't think the Intercontinental title means very much anymore. I don't watch wrestling, I catch it once in a while, but I really couldn't tell you what's going on. But I don't think the Intercontinental title really means anything. I don't really know that really any belt means anything there, from what I understand. It's just it's a different ball game now. It's a TV show, and Vince makes a lot of money with the commercials, and the way he makes the money is different than when I was in the business. It's a completely different ball game.
Mm-hmm. Is there anybody that you see? I know I said you don't really watch it now, but is there anybody that you do see currently that you wish you could get in the ring with, like back when you're in your prime, or even now?
Well, of all the guys that I did get to watch a little bit was Bobby Orton's son.
Yeah, Randy.
Randy, I think he's very talented. I hope that he can straighten his life. I know he's had a couple of episodes where they've dismissed him for a while for breaking some kind of rule, and I like Bob Orton Jr. and his father helped train me when I got started in 1971, and I just hope that he gets it together, because he's got a lot of potential, and he could be the world champion for a long time, because I don't really see anybody in the same league as far as worker.
Mm-hmm. There's
in the WWE.
There's a lot of second and third generation guys in wrestling now. Will we ever see Tito Santana, Jr. end up? No.
My oldest son is finishing third year of law school, and my middle son graduated from Princeton, and he's in Chile right now. He spent last year in Korea, and I think he's going to go into law school. My youngest son is graduating from college. He's got one more year with a finance and accounting degree, and they have no desire to I wouldn't want my kids in the business. You sacrifice a lot, and the chances of getting involved with drugs and steroids, is there. And I guess you can do that wherever you're at, but it's just the way of life. It's a lot of real tempting things on the road. And when my kids were young, I was always on the road, and I think we were playing wrestling on the mat, and I asked the kids when they grew up if they wanted to be away from their kids as much as I was away from them, and I think that left a mark in their mind, and they've never really had any interest in getting into business.
Mm-hmm. We got a bunch of callers here. Let's get to some of them. We got Jason on the line.
Hey, how's it going?
Thanks. You have a question for Tito?
Yeah, I do. I was curious if Tito could give some insight into how the AWF got together and what happened to it. Why did it end so quickly?
Well, the AWF, we had a guy, our money guy was from Chicago, and we were based in Chicago, and, he told us that he had enough money to finance the company, and he came to me because we became friends from wrestling when he used to usher us in Chicago when we used to go to the matches there, and I got Sergeant Slaughter, and then we invited we had some great talent in the AWF. I don't know if you ever got to see any of our shows. We had a different concept, which I think just to get people's attention, we did the rounds for a little while. I particularly wasn't too crazy about the rounds, but we were going to integrate, the regular matches. But it's the way it's done in England, or was done in England, and we just wanted to do something different because we knew we couldn't compete against Vince. And I think if we would have had enough money, we would have, we would have done a lot better than TNA, because we had, I think Sergeant Slaughter and myself were real good bookers, and we were just getting ready to, start doing a bunch of angles on TV, and the guy ran out of money. That's the bottom line.
Has anybody in TNA ever come to you to bring you in as a creative guy? No,
I have no desire to do anything long term anymore. Mm-hmm. I tried that out. Now I'm a school teacher. I teach 7th and 8th grade Spanish, and I coach basketball, believe it or not, in the middle school. And I enjoy doing independent shows on the weekend. I try to limit myself to a couple of months, personal appearances, because I still love the business, and it makes me stay in shape. And whenever I go to places, the independents, you have the ability to meet, get close to the fans and answer questions like this, because the fans always have a bunch of questions that they want to ask.
Mm-hmm. Was it ever hard for you to talk openly about wrestling to the fans?
As you know, when we got started, we used to protect the business, and a lot of the people thought that wrestling was totally on the up and up. There were some people that there's no way you could convince them that the endings were predetermined, by the promoters. And we used to protect it, and the work that we did in the ring, I know that Valentine and I really convinced the fans that what we did was pretty close to real, because we'd go in there and we'd beat the crap out of each other. Mm-hmm. When Vince McMahon himself came out and kind of smartened everybody up on television to avoid paying taxes in New York, because I guess the taxes that he had to pay into the New York Commission was pretty steep in different states. He came out and made it total entertainment. So now that Vince himself has come out and you would say exposed the business in a way, it's not hard for me to talk anymore. I do believe that all the wrestlers, and I don't watch it, but all the wrestlers that are in there right now, they still get in there and they still try to convince that and give the fans a good show and still beat the heck out of each other. And I know that the stuff that they're doing is a little bit more risk taking now. They're doing some unbelievable stuff in the ring, but it's a different ball game.
We get another caller here on the line. We got Kicks.
Hey, Tito. ¿Cómo estás?
How are you?
It's all right. Hey, I just have a couple questions. Tito, first off, wanted to ask, who came up with the El Matador gimmick?
It was Vince McMahon. Mm-hmm. I never liked it. It's one of the main reasons that I ended up retiring earlier than I really wanted to. I was pretty young, and when he told me that he wanted to give me a gimmick, and I didn't think I needed one, but I figured that if he was going to give me the gimmick, he was going to push it. And then, I went through a period of time getting ready for this gimmick, going to Mexico and learning how to fight bulls and doing some vignettes and, introducing the character. It didn't take me long to figure out that he really didn't have any intentions of pushing the gimmick.
Caller, turn off your show in the background. Did you have another question, Kicks?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask one more question, which is, Tito, you obviously were in the first ever WrestleMania, and you competed in the first match, at the first WrestleMania. What kind of thoughts did you have, coming out, being a part of this, history-making event, as a first, opening the show?
When I first found out that I was going to be the first match, because I was in the middle of a big angle with Greg Valentine, I was really disappointed. I was upset. That I had been selling out big arenas. In main events with Greg Valentine. And all of a sudden, I'm the opening match in WrestleMania 1. I was totally disappointed. Then I found out that our matches were so good that they didn't want to waste a match throughout the country, because we were still doing a lot of house shows back then. And then right before I went through the curtains, Vince McMahon told me that the reason he put me on the first match was because he wanted me to get out there. He knew that I could do it, to get the people off their butts and set the tempo for the night. He says this match is very important. And then I got a different outlook on what my job was, and I went out there and I did the best job that I possibly could, and I knew it was big, and it was electrifying when you stepped into the people were ready, you know, and there was fans from all over the world, you know, in WrestleMania 1.
Was there any reason why Buddy Rose was under a mask?
To be honest with you, Buddy Rose had wrestled in the WWF a few years past, and I think he had been in some main events, and I think that the only way that he would probably put me over in the middle of the ring was under a mask. You know, I think he was protecting his name.
Right.
I mean, that's what I think. I really don't know, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm. Did he have any heat? Well, I guess if you said he was trying to protect his name, he wouldn't have any heat with that. Thanks for calling in, Kicks.
All right, thanks.
We got Brian here on the line.
Oh, hey, is this Tito?
Yeah,
Yep.
This is Tito.
Yeah, I had two questions actually. One, when you were playing at West Texas State, at tight end, what type of offense did they use? I realize that this was probably a little bit before the West Coast was invented, so I was just kind of curious as to what exact type of basic, offensive.
Believe it or not, we ran the wishbone. We were a running team.
Okay.
So I was a very good blocker, and I had pretty good hands. When I left there, I had the second most catches in one season, and the second most catches in the career in the history of the school.
Now Tully was the quarterback,
good
right?
for a non-passing team.
Is it true that Tully was your quarterback there?
Tully was a quarterback one of the years that I was there. We had a different quarterback for a couple of years, and Tully played. I think, as a matter of fact, I think he only played half a season, and then I don't know if he got hurt or if he lost the job to Mike Wardis, who was the quarterback really throughout my career there at WT.
Okay. Well, the other thing I was wondering about, I read somewhere that you ran for Senate or Congress in Massachusetts in the late 90s. Is that true, or?
No. I live in New Jersey. I ran for a councilman here in the little town that I was at.
Okay.
Yeah, it was just a town council.
Okay, I thought it was like some seat. I didn't
not anything statewide.
Thanks for calling in, Brian.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, we got Slarty here on the line.
Hey, Tito. Thanks for doing the show tonight.
How are you?
I'm doing great. I got a quick question for you. A question I've been dying to know the answer to. You seem to be one of the few guys in the history of the WWF, WWE, that was allowed to have two separate finishing moves. You used to use your flying forearm and the figure four leg lock. I was wondering, is there a story about how you got to have two moves while 90% of the people in the company only got one? Did it come up by a fluke, or was it intentional, or how'd that come about?
I established the flying forearm, and up until now, I don't think anybody has been able to do the flying forearm the way I did it, and I still do it when I wrestle. I do it in independent shows. But then the fact that Greg Valentine tore out my knee in a figure four leg lock, and the storyline was that I learned and mastered the figure four from the Briscoe brothers, from Jerry and Jack Briscoe, and then we had a figure four against figure four match, and I was able to use both of them. I made sure that I made sure that I would alternate the finishes, when I did TV matches, to keep both of them alive.
Well, yeah, I remember that. And I love that. That was just great. I just always remember that Tito Santana is one of the few guys that had two finishers.
I never even thought about that.
Speaking of the flying forearm, I've always wondered, if you had any heat with Jesse Ventura for calling it the flying burrito.
No, Jesse the Body and I. Jesse the Body used to love to work with me, and I used to love to work with Jesse. I mean, I figured, Jesse had a great mic, but as far as working in the ring, you get in the ring with Jesse, and he was all psychology. He didn't do much work in the ring. It seemed like he was doing a bunch, but he was working with his mouth, mostly. And then when he became a commentator, he had a lot of heat, and me being a babyface, when you had a heat that was knocking you, it would elevate the babyface. And for several months, I'd go to arenas, and wrestling fans would I knew I was a babyface, and hey, Chico, what's going on? And it kind of bothered me at first, and then it took me a while to realize that the reason they're calling me Chico is because Jesse the Body was using that in his commentating.
Mm-hmm. And really, that put you over, even though he's
really put me over. Yeah.
Does that make you feel proud? Like maybe some guys who might not be able to do like a great match on their own, like Jesse, would enjoy working with you. So he knew it would make a good match.
Yeah, it's I mean, I was considered one of the best baby faces in the business because of the way I sold, during the match, and. Whenever anybody worked with me, and there's a bunch of other guys. I'm not saying that I was the greatest baby face there ever was. There's, it kind of bothers me when I hear different guys, talk about that they were the greatest that they ever were, there ever was, there ever will be, and that can never be the case. There's always somebody better than you. There's a lot of great workers in our business, both baby face and heels. But whenever somebody worked with me, you'd always hear the same thing. It's a night off, and they knew they were going to have a good match.
Mm-hmm. You just mentioned, the best there is, the best there ever will be. Now, actually, I think it was in a shoot interview with you. You mentioned that there was talks to put like the WWE title on you when it ended up going on Bret Hart. Was there any truth to that?
Yeah, I think at one point the WWF was considering going into South America. Mm-hmm. Around that time, going into Mexico and all of South America and Spain, because I wrestled in Spain in 1987 against the Undertaker, and right before he was the Undertaker already, but right before he started getting big, and I actually beat him in Barcelona. We were the main event. We were the first ones to sell out the place where they had the basketball games during the Olympics. And at that point, I was getting pushed pretty hard, and I believe they were considering, and they were talking, right before they made me the Matador, talking about going into South America, and I think that Vince found out that it was pretty difficult to do business with Mexico and with a lot of the South American countries. Everybody had their hand out, and they decided to go heavy into Canada, and I believe that was the ultimate decision, and why they went with Bret the Hitman Hart.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
The world champion. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, and Bret was a great worker. I'm not taking anything from him.
Yeah.
But it was Vince McMahon who decided that.
Mm-hmm. We got Santo on the line.
¿Qué pasa, Tito? ¿Cómo está? ¿Qué pasa? Man, let me tell you something. First, I want great you're in the show, man. You're my dad's favorite wrestler, man. Back when I was young, he always used to scream at me and say, "Tito está luchando, púrate, púrate." So it was great seeing you in the ring, man. Big inspiration for me, man. But I want to ask you a question. I remember seeing you in WCW for a one night show back. I think it was 99 or 2000. How did they how did they get in touch with you to get you? Well, what kind of deal was that?
They just brought me, and I believe it was Jimmy Snuka and George the Animal Steel that ended up going up against Jeff Jarrett. And we all wrestled against him. We all beat him, and I think that was my second or third year of teaching, and I took a couple of days off. That I really got into trouble for taking a day off from school because they saw me on television live, and
right.
I hadn't told them what I was going to be doing. But,
the teacher's playing hooky.
Yeah, right. But and after my match, Eric Bischoff kind of made a comment that he wanted to talk to me about me considering coming in there, but that was about the time that we were I think. No, it wasn't the time. There was another time when Eric tried to talk me into coming to the WCW to work full time. But when I left the WWF, I had 3 boys. My 3 sons were at an age where I just wanted to be home and enjoy watching them grow up and coach and be part of their life, because I was tired of missing their birthdays and missing being away from every holiday. We were always gone, and I had enough.
Mm-hmm. Right. Can I ask you one more question? I don't know if you know. I don't know if you watch AAA in Mexico, but there is a guy out there going under your name. Going under your wrestling name, Tito Santana.
Yeah, I know. I think that's his real name.
So there's nothing you can do about that, then.
Right, or it's not like I'm gonna follow him to Mexico and ask him to stop. If somebody can make money with my name as a wrestler, I think the wrestling fan, when they see him and they know that it's not Tito Santana. There's only one Tito Santana to the true wrestling fan.
Mm.
Right. Well, okay, gracias so much, gracias, man, para todo eso.
Okay, adiós, amigo.
That's funny, Santo.
Arriba!
Yeah, I hope the tornado there doesn't hit you. We got another caller. We got Van.
Hey, guys.
How you doing?
Good. Hey, Mr. Santana, I was always curious. Had Tom Zenk not left the company in '87 and Martel still had a full-time tag team partner, I was wondering if there were any plans if you knew about any plans for you as a singles, or were they thinking about putting you in a tag team, or what the situation was?
I really can't tell you what Vince had plans, but at the time I had just came off an angle and I was pretty hot, and they asked me if I wanted to be his partner, and Rick Martel and I ended up being Strikeforce. And then we ended up splitting up because of a family illness that he had to take some time off. We went in to do, I think, one of the pay-per-views when Rick told Vince that he had to take some time off because of a family illness. And I asked Vince, and then Vince says, well, because we weren't initially going to drop the belts on that show, and Vince says, well, we have to drop the belts. And I said, well, what's going to happen to me? He says, don't worry. He says, there's plenty of things we can do with you. But, I don't really, too many good things happened to me after that.
When you went into the Hall of Fame and Shawn Michaels gave the speech about wanting like the Tito thing, what did you think about that? Shawn
Michaels was not a very well-liked guy in the business. From what I understand, he's really changed and turned his life around. And him and I had a little bit of a problem in a plane one time, and I called him on it, and thank God nothing really happened. So when I found out that Shawn was going to be the one that was going to be introducing me, I said, God, well, I wonder what in the world Shawn is going to say about me, And when him and Marty Jannetty came in, they weren't doing anything with him for a long time, and they would ask, because I had been in the WWF for the longest time, and I would always give the guys advice and try to help them, and I told both of them, I said, you guys just keep your nose clean, and I guarantee you, if you're still around, Vince is just waiting for the right thing to come up at the right time, and he's going to do something with you guys. And I had given him some good advice, and when I heard what he said, I never knew that the guys wanted the Tito thing. I know that not too many wrestlers stayed married for as long as I've been married, and the guys knew that whenever I had a chance to, I mean, I live in New Jersey. If I wrestle in Boston, I drive home after my match and get home at 2, 3 in the morning just so I could sleep and then see the kids in the morning. if I wrestle anywhere within a 300-mile radius, I made sure that I get home that night, and none of the other guys were doing that. So they knew that I was a family man. They knew that I was not abusing the drugs on the road, and they knew that that I had been in a great position for a bunch of years.
Mm-hmm. What did you do with your Hall of Fame plaque?
I've got it. My wife put it up here. A lot of the guys don't think much of it, but I'm pretty proud of the plaque.
Mm-hmm. We got one last caller here. Jai, do you have a question?
Yes. Hello, Santino. I mean,
that's all right.
No, I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. Long day. When you fought Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 8, what did you think of that?
I thought it was a great match. When they set up the match, I knew Shawn Michaels was on his way up, and I knew that I was probably going to be doing a favor for him. I just wish that we had a little bit more time we could have put a great match. It was still a good match, but it was too short. We could have gone for quite a few minutes longer. It would have been nice to be able to go out there and put some time in and really entertain the fans.
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember he hit you with that super kick before that was a finish maneuver.
Right.
Yeah, and you were like one of the first people he would do that to, and I thought that was just neat because you were like one of the first people to get hit by that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Just real quick, because you said that match was short and stuff. Do you ever wish that one of your matches with Valentine was had a big pay-per-view match, so it could be like on a DVD or remembered a little more?
Yeah. Yes, I do. I mean, I had hour matches with Greg Valentine. I had curfew matches at Madison Square Garden because one time we they had a curfew, 11 o'clock curfew, and they had to stop it. I do wish that we had a little bit more time, and I wish I had any pay-per-view. Mm-hmm. It would have been nice to been one of the main matches. I was never, even the tag team championship matches that I had in the pay-per-view were never a part of the main bouts, and I believe that I never got the respect that I deserved as far as that went.
Mm-hmm. Well, for anybody out there as a WWE 24/7, they do show a lot of the house shows from the 80s, and you get to see a lot of great matches with yourself and Valentine and Don Morocco and a bunch of other people.
Yeah, I can't believe that. I mean, I know that I was one of the best workers in the WWF history, and it'd be nice if Vince would put out a DVD of the best of Tito Santana.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we have you here for about a half hour. We'll let everybody know to visit TitoSantana.net, and if anybody's interested in booking Tito for the further event, you can find out about all the information there. Also, you can look about Tito Santana Tales from the Ring, because it's a very hard book to get right now. Hopefully they'll be having some more, another press, I guess, of it. But right now you can get it on TitoSantana.net, and Tito will even autograph it for you if you buy it off TitoSantana.net.
Yeah, they would have to send
$25
money order to the address of my hair salon.
Mm-hmm.
I've gotten a few already, and I've sent them back. So that's the way I'm doing it.
Mm-hmm. Now, I would never say this to you in person because you'd probably beat me up. But do you ever get teased about being working at a hair salon by any of the old wrestlers?
No.
All right.
I don't cut hair or anything.
You just own it?
I just own it, and my wife run it. But I do sweep hair, and I clean it, and I believe that it's very important to keep it clean, and we do have a very clean hair salon, and
mm-hmm.
I mingle with people like when I'm there. I mingle with the crowd, and they like talking to me. Young and old. I talk to all of them.
Yeah, excellent. Well, we're going to thank you for coming on tonight. Really appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for having me. And I want to say I want to thank all the fans for all these years. All these years, win, lose or draw, the fans never stopped supporting me and getting behind me. And if it wasn't for the fans, I wouldn't have gotten anywhere. So thank you very much. And if I ever have a show, independent show, I'd love to meet some of you and get to talk to you and answer some of your questions. And hopefully we'll run into each other at some point. Definitely.
Yeah, we actually got a chance to meet you a couple years ago at the it was a Capital Wrestling Fan Fest in it was in Maryland, I believe.
Right.
Can we keep you here for 1 second?
Hey, this is Outlaw Ron Bass coming to you in your head online, and if you want to get the latest of the greatest, what's happening in the wrestling business, you better tune in. If you don't tune in, I might just come knocking on your door. I'll have Miss Betsy, I have Brett Bart, and we will educate you a little bit in your head online all the time. See ya.